I am Brad Keelor. She is Paola Bandini. Coming up next on Director's Cut, something we've never talked about on the show. You're going to hear all about her sabbatical in Colorado.
I was lying on the grass of Sunday morning of last week, indulging in my self-defeat. My mind was thugged, all laced and bugged, all twisted, wrong and beat. Uncomfortable, 3 feet deep.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Director's Cut. My name is Brad Keelor. I'm the director of the Geo-Institute, and that is why we call this show Director's Cut. Every single week, I sit down with a different GI member who has stories to tell. Some of them are personal, some are professional, but all of them are fun. If you don't know anything about the Geo-Institute, after you watch this here interview today, you should head over to geoinstitute.org, and there you will find out a great many things, including that we are a technical society with about 12,000 members, most of whom are geotechnical engineers and or geologists, and that we are part of the American Society of Civil Engineers. And if you like what you see today, and look around us, these amazing surroundings, how could you not? You should click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we will let you know every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Before I introduce the guest today, one more very important thing you have by now noticed, viewers, if you are keenly eyed, which I suspect you are, that we are not in my basement. We are not in my sunroom. We are not in my office. We are coming to you from DFI 49 in Aurora, Colorado. Very exciting to record an episode of Director's Cut here. My guest this week, she is a faculty member at New Mexico State University in Las Cruces, New Mexico. It's Paola Bandini. Paola, welcome. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
We're going to have a good time today. We have 10 questions, the same way we always do. Two of them are the same that we ask everybody, and we always, as is tradition, begin with one of those. Describe your job in 45 seconds.
Okay. Well, I'm a professor at New Mexico State University. I am an educator, a mentor to many students and some junior faculty. I'm a researcher I'm within geotechnical engineering, and also I have passion for service to the profession and for outreach to the younger students just to recruit them to and motivate them to pursue STEM careers.
When we were talking yesterday, we were talking about my son, who's a college freshman, and about how his ideas, his field of study, whatever, seems to change like every single day. And you said, oh, I deal with a lot of students and they go through a lot of the same stuff. How do you help to guide them in that situation, especially with the undergrads? It's got to be very challenging.
Well, yes, it's true. And I understand them because even though we may have come from different backgrounds, we have many things in common. And I'm a first generation student. I'm Hispanic, and we have many things in common, more than what they may think. So I understand them. Well, how do I motivate them? Just I listen to them. I ask them, how do you see yourself in 5 years and 10 years? Sometimes they cannot answer that question. Right?
That's a long time. When you're only 18,
yeah, exactly. Right? But I just I listen to them, and then I start describing some of the options, and I follow up with them, kind of guide them, and just making sure that they have somebody that can listen to them.
Oh, I like that a lot. So we're going to talk a little bit more about your research and your job and your sabbatical later on in the interview. But the reason people tune into Director's Cut is the hard-hitting journalism that we bring them week after week. Here is an example of such hard-hitting journalism. Paola, what drink do you start your day with every day?
Always milk, warm milk, and coffee. No sugar. It has to be, my preference is skim milk. with coffee.
Are
That's
you
it.
a coffee all day person, or do you do 1 or 2 cups in the morning and that's it?
Coffee with milk in the morning, no sugar. A little bit of coffee maybe later in the morning, stay awake, and a small one. My coffees, I'm originally from Venezuela. We don't drink this American coffee, big coffee, right? So when I say I drink a coffee, it's something really small.
When did you start drinking coffee? Because so I'm from the Midwest,
Uh-huh.
and you don't really start drinking coffee, at least when I was a kid, until you're like late in high school, maybe 16 or 18 years old. You're like a milk drinker up until that point. When did you start and how did you get into it?
Oh, at home we were drinking just it's mostly milk, but a little bit of coffee with my cereal when I was
Wow.
a child. Yeah,
Oh, that'll get you going for the
But-
day. I like that.
a little coffee, but it had
But
that
it built
flavor.
up your taste for
Yes.
it, right? Because I think a lot of people start drinking it and at first they're horrified
One of
by
the
the
things
bitter.
that I like the most is the smell of coffee in the morning.
Yes.
And then during COVID, I started baking. Well, I think everybody
Yeah.
did that. And I got very good at it. I'm making my loaf of bread at home, and that smell.
That's
It's
got to be a
delicious. So,
great way to start the day.
yeah.
The third question in the interview is always the research question. Today is no different. We're going to talk about something that is fun and near and dear to my heart because it involves everybody's favorite center, CBBG, the Center for Biomediated and Bioinspired Geotechnics.
Yep.
Shout out Ed Kavazanjian. Paola, you are working on a new pile and anchor system as
Yes.
part of CBBG's work. Can you tell us about that? What
Yes.
makes it exciting?
Well, for those that are not familiar with CBBG,
also
first
important.
I have to describe what it is. It's an engineering research center sponsored by the National Science Foundation, and it's a partnership of 4 universities: Arizona State University as the lead, Georgia Tech, UC Davis, and New Mexico State University. And we have around 20 industry partners and other educational partners that are part of our activities. So one of my projects that is sponsored by CBBG is developing a new approach for piles and anchor systems. So it's bio-inspired, and the approach consists in installing the pile or the anchor. It's like a steel pipe into the ground. And then after installation, we introduce a bladder system, a pressurized bladder that increases the diameter of the pipe. So it actually deforms or yields the steel, enlarging permanently, causing a permanent deformation, enlarging the diameter. Well, the steel pushes against the soil around that area of the pile, and the soil reacts by, it's a reaction, increases the confining stress against the sides of the pipe. And by that, we increase the shaft resistance significantly. Our testing have shown, we have done mid-scale testing in one of the CBBG research facilities at Arizona State University. It's a test pit. And we instrumented the pile. Then we have sensors in the soil to measure the lateral pressure induced by this expansion. And the increase in the capacity is, you can double or triple the capacity or even more, because as we move now to the field with one of our industry partners, we will be able to really figure out some of the details of the installation in the field, and also look at other variables like the density of the soil, how that affects that gain in capacity by lateral expansion.
That's fantastic. I want to ask you as a follow-up, it hasn't been that long since bio-inspired, whatever, whether you want to call it biomimicry, bio-inspired, what hit across disciplines. Okay. I remember the first time I heard about it, and it was a tree gecko, I think. It had sticky pads on its hands. This is like the classic example, right? What did you think, if you can think back to the first time you heard about biomimicry or bio-inspired geotechnics? Was your reaction, wow, that's cool, I got to get into that? Or were you a little more skeptical? How did you approach it at first?
The bio-inspired in geotechnics started mainly with our center. And our center, we are in our 10th year, so it has evolved, and many other research teams have also worked on bio-inspired, right? And they are developing their technologies and that are bio-inspired. So when did I hear first about this? When I got involved in the center, and we went through a systematic process, my team, a systematic process to look at the nature and organisms and extract strategies and of how they do it, organisms and nature, because there are some mechanisms and processes in nature that don't involve a living creature, right? A living organism, but still it occurs naturally. So how does it happen? And then we extract, because we cannot replicate materials that are in nature. They are too complex, too difficult. However, there are mechanisms, there are strategies that we can adopt and then use it to solve complex engineering problems. However, biomimicry, or I like bio-inspired, doesn't solve all the problems. But it's when you do it systematically, it can lead you to very efficient solutions. So that's
a great response. I like that a lot.
Thank you.
And you are, I think, the third person that we've had on Director's Cut from CBBG. Ed Kavazanjian was on. We had Alejandro Martinez. And so now Paola Bandini. And of course, we will put links to the interviews with Ed and Alejandro down in the show notes below where you, dear viewers, are watching this today.
Ed Kavazanjian is the center director.
Yes. So again, we are at DFI 49 in Aurora, Colorado, and behind us is the exhibit hall. So I wanted to put this question in for you, Paula. What's your favorite thing to pick up from exhibit booths at conferences?
Oh.
And I think you brought a prop,
yes,
right?
Yes. Well, I like bags because then I get to use them. We don't use plastic bags anymore. And I have this cool
little
stress,
promotion there for Kiwit.
Yeah,
Nice.
this stress
balls.
We're not supposed to show it.
Well, that's okay. That's a little. They're a supporter of the Geo-Institute.
Yes, they are.
Squishy globe.
Yes, but look at this. This is something new. I have never seen before.
I did not expect that. I guess that's so you can put a new one in there if you need to, maybe?
No, it's meant to be like that. They show it to me.
All right.
So, and I have this cool one.
A squishy rock?
Yes, a squishy rock. And Snabble Foundation is also an industry partner for
and
our
we're going to
center
talk
at
a little bit
CBBG.
more about Schnabel
Yes,
later on in the show.
So I also like the tags for our luggage. And this one is from the GI
Continuing education civil engineering certification.
Oh, yes.
That is excellent.
Super useful. Okay. And I have another one. So
you're like the queen of squishies.
Well, this is going to be for my pet. But the other ones, I keep them in the office for like an icebreaker. And when I have some of our students or visitors that bring kids and they have fun and they take it away with them.
So I go the other way. I get sucked in by tools. Anytime anybody has a tool, whether it's one of the mini measuring tapes or a level, I have so many magnetic mini levels in my house, but you can never have too many.
Well, I think I have some. If I look closer, look, I have a measuring tape, and I love that because I can I can have it in my
That's
my
fantastic.
pocket.
You far
Yes,
exceeded
yes.
my expectations.
Eh,
there. This is-
for me to take it home in a luggage, it has to have a use. It has to be useful.
I like that.
Okay.
We have to ask a question about Las Cruces in here. Many people have not been to Las Cruces.
Mhm.
I think it is the type of place where is it on I-25?
Yes, I-25 and I-10. It's right there in the intersection of the two.
Generally, you have to want to be going to Las Cruces to end up there. So if someone wants to go to Las Cruces, what about it would be most surprising to people?
Oh, I would tell you what I like the most. We have beautiful mountains,
Mhm.
and people don't know that. The Oregon Mountains, and they are called Oregon because of that, the similarity with the Oregon Heights, right? It's gorgeous mountains, very tall. And that's what I see when I drive from home to the office, see the mountains, and makes my day. And second, the perfectly blue skies. It's
Oh, yeah.
gorgeous.
You guys are at a relatively high elevation,
Yes.
even when you're not up in the mountains, though, right? Because this
Yeah.
is when I went to Albuquerque the first time, I don't think I appreciated how high up
Yes.
it is.
Mhm.
What elevation is Las Cruces?
Wow, I think it's more than 6,000 feet.
It is up there. You got
No, at least
no
700, yeah.
humidity, and the
Yes.
sun's always out.
It's
And
very sunny, and people are very friendly. I love that place. I have been there for 22 years. I moved to New Mexico. I knew very little about New Mexico before moving to there. So I went to school at Purdue University, and from Indiana to New Mexico. I would tell you why I was fortunate to have to interview for several faculty positions at that time, and I ended up, accepting that job at MSU, and it it must be because they scheduled my job interview on Valentine's Day. It was February 14th. So I went from the winter of Indiana to the beautiful weather in New Mexico, and I fell in love with that place.
I think you're also, not only are you the third person on Director's Cut with a CBBG connection, you're the third person with a New Mexico connection, because we've had Damian Siebert, who grew up there, and Bob Holtz, who spent part of his childhood there as well.
Yes, it's true.
The other question that we ask everybody when they come on Director's Cut is to tell their ASCE and GI origin story. How did you first get involved with ASCE and GI?
Okay, with ASCE, I was a brand new faculty in New Mexico, and we had the New Mexico section of ASCE has conferences in the fall and in the spring. So I went the first one in Clarkproof. It's a small town in the mountains. People go there to ski and vacation. So I went there, and I got to meet everybody and network with the ASCE people in New Mexico, and I just like it. I saw the benefit of being the network with that group, and I stay involved. They saw my motivation and my interest in ASCE. Eventually, I was elected into the board of directors of the New Mexico section. So I went through, I think, 6 years of service as a director, and then vice president, president-elect, and served as president and past president. So I went through all that. And for the Geo-Institute, since my first year as a faculty, I went to the geo-congress. Again, I like the group. I like the opportunities, the networking, the technical content, and I never missed one. I think only during COVID that we didn't have it, but I never missed a geo-congress. And I always tell my department head, this has been the best investment that the university has made on me, just funding my trips to the Geo-Congress, my participation in the Geo-Congress for my professional development.
That was perfect on so many levels because we're going to talk a little bit more about your ASCE involvement at the end of the interview. Something very exciting has happened for you recently.
Yes.
And then for Geo-Congress, I even wore my shirt today. Geo-Congress is Geotechnical Frontiers next year in Louisville at the beginning of March. We would love to see all of you there, dear viewers. You've mentioned Purdue a couple of times. You were there for over 6 years, I
Yes,
think.
because I did my master and my PhD there. Mhm.
And we also mentioned Bob Holtz, another
Yes.
person with a Purdue connection. We have to ask a Purdue question.
Yeah.
West Lafayette,
Uh-huh.
if anybody's ever been there, you know, it's not the most glamorous city in the
No.
Big Ten, but it has its charm. What part of West Lafayette, Indiana, stays with you to this day?
What I remember the most, and I miss the most, is the campus. Not so much the town itself, but the campus is beautiful. In spring and fall, especially fall when the leaves change color, is gorgeous. And there is a big fountain in the middle of campus that's my favorite place. And I always remember walking by and enjoying that place.
While you were there,
Mhm.
did you get into college sports at all? Purdue, of course, legendary for football and basketball. Did you become a football or basketball fan while you were at Purdue?
Not much. I went to a couple of basketball games, a couple of
And you were
football
there
games.
like
I
the
was
Drew
too busy.
Brees years, weren't
I
you?
know, yes, but I was too busy working and studying, and I didn't have time or anything. What I remember is the many days that I spent in the basement in the lab working. I didn't know, it was in the basement. We didn't know if it was day or night. And so that's what I remember.
Still cherished memories though.
Yes,
West
yes,
Lafayette.
yes, yes.
So we mentioned at the beginning of the interview that you are on sabbatical
Yes.
this year from New Mexico State. I think a lot of people don't know what that means. The perception is that you're just taking some time off to
That's
do
what
whatever you
people are
want.
asking me. Yeah.
But that is not at
No.
all what sabbatical is. And yours is pretty unique. Can you tell everybody what you're
Yes,
doing?
Yes. Well, last year I said, I want to learn. I want to see, what I'm going to do for my sabbatical. I want to do something different. I'm working on research and I can do it regardless of where I am. So I said, what I'm missing is a better understanding of the industry and the construction aspect of our discipline. So I approached one of our CBBG industry partners and I asked, would you take me as an intern so I can learn from you guys? And at the beginning, they didn't know how to handle that because, faculty intern.
Is this the first time
I
I
have
had
been
somebody do this?
Yes. And I talked to, and at this conference, I talked to so many different, companies, and they have never heard about it. So we set it up as, so I'm an intern with the Schnabel Foundation in the Aurora office, so I'm here local. And we set it up as an intern, as an internship. The university, because my sabbatical is during this fall semester, the university pays for my salary. I keep all my benefits, and that makes it easy. And they had been very generous to provide also other type of support for housing, transportation, and so on. But the most important part is that they are making sure this is a very rewarding learning experience for me. They are putting time on teaching me and training me about the construction and the project management aspects, and they also do some design for their projects. So I am working with them, and it's amazing. It has been amazing.
So I'm going to turn around the follow-up
Yes.
question a little bit. Instead of asking you what you think is most interesting or surprising about it, what do you think from their perspective, from Schnabel, like your office mates, or even the company at large? What do you think has been the most surprising thing for them about having you in there on your sabbatical?
Yes, they were surprised that a faculty wanted to do this. Yes, they were surprised. They thought that, but at the same time, they appreciate my interest and my motivation to learn about their work and be exposed to their to their work and to their expertise. They, of course, I have more experience than an undergraduate intern that they hired, so I start from a different level, and I told them I want to be also productive. I want to contribute to your office and your work. It will, from the company perspective, the fact that I'm here as an intern will create a long-term relationship with our schools, and so they can have access to our students and they can recruit and hire our students, right?
Oh, that's great. So, 190 episodes into Director's Cut, we've never talked about sabbatical. So for all of you viewers who have said to yourself, why hasn't he ever asked anybody about sabbaticals? Yeah. Now you know.
Yes. And what I'm doing may not be for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. But there are maybe other faculty that are interested in doing something like that. I put myself in a outside my comfort zone, right? I go to the field. I wear steel toe boots and hard hats and vests and so on. And it's a humble experience as well. My email signature with Schnabel is my name dash intern, right? No degrees, no professional PE license, or anything like that, because I am there to learn, and I want to be also to contribute and help them.
That is
their work.
great.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 2 questions left.
Okay.
We have, they're all fun. I always say we have one fun one and one other one, but they're all fun. I have to ask. I don't know why I have to ask, but this one seemed like a natural one to ask you for some reason. Paola, if you could acquire one superpower, what would you choose? And then the reverse of that is, what would you not choose and why?
Okay. If I will have the superpower to make peace in the world, that's what I would like to do.
Most people just choose being really fast or something like that.
No.
It's so much more profound.
To make peace, to make sure that people are not fighting, wars will go away, and that will actually make people safe, and they wouldn't have to leave their homes or get injured or get hunger will also
that is
go away. So I think now the superpower that I don't want to have is the one that will let us see the future. I don't want to know the future. Yeah. I want to be hopeful, because I may be disappointed to know what's coming in the future. I want to be hopeful. I want to be just to work for something better.
I think it's nice also to have some surprises in life. You don't want to know everything that's going to happen.
Yes.
Oh, that's a really good answer. Yes. I like that.
I want to get up in the morning, every day in the morning, and
have your coffee with milk.
Coffee with milk, no sugar, and just be ready to make the future, right? I don't want to know what's going to happen.
So we'll talk a little bit about the future right now, like the immediate future. One thing, every May, ASCE has elections for board of direction, people to represent the different regions and the technical region. And we get those election results as staff first
Oh,
before anybody
so
else
you
sees
know
them.
before.
Right at the beginning of June when everything gets tallied, right? And I always look and I say, who's going to be on the board from the Geo-Institute? And this year, there it was, Region 6, Paola Bandini. And I was like, first I checked to make sure there weren't two, because I was like, is there some other Paola I don't know about?
No.
Or is this our Paola? And it was you.
Yes.
So you're beginning your term on the ASCE Board of Direction. What excites and terrifies you the most about being a Board of Direction member?
What I like the most is the possibility to network in an outside my current group of people. The opportunity to travel, to get to know them. It's a very sharp group of governors in Region 6 that includes Mexico. The Region 6 includes Mexico, so it's international. I love that. And I also like the possibility in this new role to support the ASCE student organization, the student chapters in our state. Nothing terrifies me of that position, at least not for that. The only thing that I'm not looking forward to is public speaking, but because I will have to go to the different conferences in New Mexico and the different sections and talk to maybe give a little updates of.
You'll be a little bit of a celebrity for a few years.
That's not in my nature. I don't. I am happy to actually help others to get into the podium. I facilitate that, but I'm not the one that is looking to be in that position. But
still, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're really excited. We're always super proud when we have GI members that get elected regional directors or technical region directors, and they get to serve on the ASCE board.
Yeah. Thank you.
Paola, you made it through all 10 questions. Yeah. You made it through the bonus questions. It was fun. We didn't have any super loud people behind us to distract us or anything. So that was all a great part of the interview for our viewers. If you liked what you saw, again, you know by now, click like, subscribe, and get notifications, and we will let you know lovingly every time we post something to the YouTube channel. Paola, thank you so much for doing this.
And I would see you in Louisville.
You will. Hopefully we see everybody in Louisville. And we will see all of you viewers next week with a brand new episode of Director's Cut.
You can recruit some.
Oh, this is good. You are looking live at Director's Cut from DFI 49. That's not part of this. I love doing